Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Friday, December 20, 2024. Patients seeking care at the Spanish Town Hospital and St. Jago Health Center in St. Catherine are benefiting from shorter wait times. This is one of the many benefits that's flowing from the implementation of the Electronic Health Records (EHR) system earlier this year. During a recent tour of the facilities to observe the system, Portfolio Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton said the electronic platform was based on the philosophy of one patient, one record.
And what that means is that whatever data that is inputted concerning the patient when they come to see a doctor at a health center or hospital in this case, that data is pulled up based on their unique identification number. And you immediately know the history of the patient and therefore all the factors that may influence a treatment regime in a much quicker way.
It allows for the uploading and sharing of patient health records right across the public health system, including a seamless interface of critical diagnostic imaging that will enable doctors to see X-rays and CT scans on computers and tablets. There is also a patient registration system for appointment setting and assignment of patients in the triage process of a facility. After first being introduced at the Maypen Hospital, Spanish Town is the second hospital to implement the electronic health record system.
It's quicker and more efficient because now instead of multiple persons having to wait on a physical record, they can all access the record at the same time regardless of where they are in the health facility. So that means that there's a shorter time period for patients to wait.
Government has tabled legislation in Parliament aimed at increasing fines, updating related custodial sentences, and modernizing the legal framework for environmental management in Jamaica. They are the Natural Resources Conservation Authority Act, NRCA, and the Wildlife Protection Act. Both were tabled on December 10 by the leader of government business in the House of Representatives, Minister Edmund Bartlett, on behalf of the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation and the National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA. The proposed amendments include increasing the maximum fine for offenses under both pieces of legislation to $5 million. The amendments also introduce distinctions between offenses committed by individuals and body corporates, with body corporates now subject to judgments in the circuit court. This change allows for the imposition of penalties based on the severity of the environmental crime. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Matthew Samuda, says the aim is to complete the overhaul of these legislation in the 2025-2026 financial year. To ensure a robust framework for protecting Jamaica's natural resources, he says the ministry will also be conducting a review of the enforcement capacity of all its environmental management agencies with regulatory authority. These include the National Environment and Planning Agency, the Forestry Department, and the Water Resources Authority. Bilateral trade between Jamaica and India has increased by $116 million, or 26%, in the past year. President of Jamaica Promotions Corporation, JAMPRO, Shillette Cox, says this remarkable increase on the previous year's figure is evidence of a growing dedication of two countries to nurture mutual economic prosperity. She points out that Jamaica has welcomed 4 delegations from India in the last 2 years and facilitated the International Startup Foundation, ISF, Global CXO Summit in June of this year, attracting an Indian delegation of over 15 companies. JAMPRO's president says conversations initiated at this summit opened new doors for strategic partnerships in sectors such as knowledge process outsourcing, business process outsourcing, agri-tech, fintech, and the creative industries.
Just this year alone, we at JAMPRO are very pleased to have facilitated 2 investment projects, one in digital services and one in agriculture, with principals that are from India. And I believe that this is only a sign of even bigger and better things to come.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Senator Aubin Hill, says he is anticipating even more economic cooperation and investments from India and Indian investors.
We're looking to see Indians investing in Jamaica. We are not looking for loans. Prime Minister has made it very clear that even as we pivot, we're not pivoting to borrow, to build an economy.
Senator Hill was addressing a business and ethics event organized by the Indian High Commission recently. The minister expressed pleasure with arrangements made between the two countries as Jamaica pivots to become efficient in areas of digital technology and training, as well as upskilling of the workforce.
We are pleased that the Prime Minister made these arrangements, especially in upskilling our people and the technology that we need, because if we're going to lead, and we are going to lead in the Caribbean, the only place is to go forward. If we are going to continue to lead, we're going to have to be a lot more efficient and digitized than we are today.
And finally, Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, Floyd Green, is urging Jamaicans to stay informed on food prices by regularly checking updates in the major newspapers and on the ministry's website. This comes amid concerns over recent price hikes on some commodities during the Christmas season. Minister Green explains that while farmers have faced challenges leading to price adjustments, major price increases are often occurring at the resale level, not at the farm gate.
For example, when we look at the average price for local plummy tomato, it is about $660 per kilogram. However, in the Kingston metropolitan area, the same commodity is sold at an average price of $1,694 per kilogram, with prices climbing to as high as $2,070 per kilogram.
The minister says certain commodities such as pumpkin, callaloo, papaya, and watermelon have shown stability in prices with no significant changes over the past 2 weeks. But overall, he highlights discrepancies in prices between retailers, stressing that consumers need to be cautious when making purchasing decisions.
If you are not prudent in your decision making, you may really face the brunt of very high prices. For example, string beans. At one retailer, we found that string beans was being retailed for $1,319 per kilogram, while at another retailer in the Kingston metropolitan area, it was being retailed for $2,321 per kilogram. That's a 76% price difference between outlets.
Mr. Green was addressing a press briefing at his ministry recently. He says consumers can expect to see some price normalization by mid-January to early February 2025 as local production stabilizes. For ongoing updates, consumers can access price information on the ministry's official website at www.moa.gov.jm. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.